Hello everybody, it's Amanda here in my cavern on this Sunday, which is very blustery and very cold. Well, it's actually not cold, it's actually just very blustery and gray and rainy and very fall-like, and since it's also the Halloween season, I decided I should be playing like Halloweenish type games, and I found this one on Steam, actually pretty randomly, come to think of it. It's called the Painscreek Killings, and all I really looked for was story-heavy and mystery games, and this is what I got. So it's a really recent release from EQ Studios, and I've played so far the first hour of it. I'm actually going to start over for the purposes of this recording and this stream, and you'll notice that if anybody's in here, you'll notice that I don't have my chat up this time. I decided to do away with it because I actually figure nobody's actually probably gonna come to this streaming, but you know, I do have my chat up, so I will be keeping an eye out on that. Yeah, so like I said, I played the first hour of the game, and I just got a little too creeped out by the things in it. So, and it's not even that, as you can see, it's not really so much scary as it is atmospheric, but it's a very good, it's promising so far. So we'll see how this does as a streaming game. It is a very slow game. It is a lot of wandering with nothing happening, so if this ends up being too boring, that's fine. The sole reason that I am doing this stream is because I just got too creeped out playing it on my own. So hopefully some people will join and I will be able to deal with that. So with that said, let's start a new game. This game seeks to emulate to a certain degree the experience of a real-life investigation. They are neither helpful quest markers nor any form of hand-holding throughout the game. You have to search each location well. See, this is why I'm a little nervous about its use of streaming. Recording, yes, so I'm still recording it, but game auto-saves whenever you enter a location. In case of freezing, do not save the game. Blah, blah, blah. So this is also what intrigued me about the game, is that a lot of games... Here we go. I'll go. To be continued. Let's listen.
Janet. So the chief has entrusted you with my assignment, hey? I hope it didn't interfere with your weekend plans. Anyway, he told me to call you and fill you in on it. You remember the murder that happened a few years back that was never solved? The one at Painscreek where the ex-mayor's wife was killed? Well, the property's being auctioned off soon, so we don't have much time to dig up anything that's relevant to the case. So, see what you can find. Hopefully it'll be something worth publishing. Anyway, take care. I'll see you on Monday. Bye.
Okay. So like I said. Okay, here we go. So this is our mission. It is 1999 currently, and in 1995, Vivian Roberts, a successful businesswoman and wife of an ex-mayor, was murdered outside her home. The case was never solved and the killer never found. It was rumored that someone hired a private investigator to find out about Vivian's death. Unfortunately, there were no news pertaining to... Oh, grammar? I don't know. There was no news pertaining to the investigation. Last week, we received news that Painscreek will be auctioned off soon. We would like to revisit the case one last time and find out the following. 1. Who killed Vivian Roberts? 2. What was the motive? And 3. What was the murder weapon? Please submit your findings and a front-page photograph for your story to be published. Don't forget to bring the camera. Right. So that's our mission. Very simple. Find out who killed this woman. So the investigation is 4 years old. So like I was saying, this game intrigued me because a lot of games do claim to be like, it's hard to do investigative games. It's difficult to do mystery games because games as a medium are very, oh, there's a post-it on the window. Okay. Zooming in. That is a cemetery gate padlock. Right, so games as a medium often are very linear and there's very... Oftentimes when you, like, say, you want to feel like Sherlock Holmes, for instance, right? But there are very few games in which you actually are Sherlock Holmes and you're making deductions on your own. More often than not, you are choosing from the game's options. So even though you might come up with your own theory, if it's not in the little multiple choice section at the end, or like if it's not in the multiple choice section in the dialogue options, for instance, then you know that's not it. So it's not so much, you don't really figuring out a mystery often in games. So this one really intrigued me because it seems to be different. So first stop, Sheriff Station. Or the other thing is, I find that, especially with adventure mystery games, they more just push you to the answer, because that is what you need to do. Yay! So, I'm a huge fan of lights. Thank you for putting light switches in here. So first things first. Okay, first things first, let's search some places. The cell is locked, obviously. Okay. Oh, is there a light switch in here? Yes. Oh. Okay. So there is a light switch. Some light switches don't work. Convenient plot light switches. Oh! Found a flashlight. Okay. Press F to stick it to inventory. Okay. Map! Nice. Awesome. So now we have a map of the town. That's good. And... Aha! That's good. Done that. Scott Brooks, Painscreek Trinity Church's pastor's son, suspected for killing Vivian Roberts. Okay, so we've got our prime suspect. He was reported seeing suspect fleeing from... A witness reported seeing the suspect fleeing from the murder scene late at night. The police have apprehended Scott Brooks yesterday afternoon. He was residing at the hunting cabin. That's probably a place we need to find. There we go. According to a witness who wished to remain anonymous, he was coming home late on July 19th at around 11:50 p.m. Oh, that's right, it recommended. So the first thing I'm going to do... Actually, I realized I don't even need to do this. So, he looked upset. The witness did not think of it as unusual until a few days later when he came across the newspaper article on Vivian Roberts' murder. Feeling uneasy about the whole situation, he called the police. Shortly after the call was made, the police arrived at Scott's cabin and questioned about his whereabouts the night Vivian died. Okay. Scott said he didn't meet her that night, but he had nothing to do with her death. Scott was later brought down to the station for further questioning. Okay, so suspect number one, this guy. Pastor's son. So the nice thing about this game is that it will automatically record articles, which I really enjoy. Okay, let's see. Oh! First locked door. Can we unlock it? Search for the key. I think that's the key. Let's pick it up. So this is kind of our training thing. Okay. Left gap. So we got that. The Story of Tonti. Lots of copies of those books. Dear Sheriff James Howard, this letter is to affirm that you've been reassigned to Long Island starting May 14th, 1998. Due to the decreasing population of Painscreek over the recent years, we have decided to delegate manpower to other, more needed places. Oh dear. So it's actually not just a house that's being auctioned off. It's an entire town. Oh, what? Search for the keyhole or lock. Enter? No, doesn't work. So we need a 4-digit lock for that cabinet. In the meantime... Well, let me just try this. No. Hang on. In the meantime, press I to open inventory. Let's use the key, and it worked! So we've got... It looks like an old gate key. I bet that's to the prison. Vivian Roberts' murder case report. This report is an update of what happened to Vivian Roberts. Scott Brooks, the only suspect of this murder case, was apprehended a few days after Vivian's body was found. According to our investigation, someone saw Scott at around 11:30 p.m. near the woods north of the mansion. 2 hunters were looking for more wood for their bonfire when they heard shouting. Then it was Scott and Vivian arguing, as is always the case. However, they were too far to hear the content of the argument. 6 months prior to her death, Scott was fired from work at the mansion. She cited Scott for tardy work and rebellious behavior. She also prohibited Scott from visiting the mansion and meeting Tricia, who by then had a close relationship with Scott. Right. There's some grammar things in here. Scott is her main suspect. Okay. So we've copied that down. Anything else in these drawers? Oh! R to read. June 30th, 1995. Vivian Roberts' funeral was held this afternoon. Bernard, the butler, Dorothy, the head servant, Derek... Ah! So here are our main players. We got Bernard, the butler, Dorothy, the head servant, Derek, the family chauffeur, and his mom, Wanda, who is fighting cancer, attended. Vivian's husband, Charles, came with their daughter, Tricia. Charles did not say a word. He was very quiet. Most of the townsfolk came and paid their respect at the funeral. Halfway through the ceremonies, Tricia started to weep loudly. Dorothy brought her elsewhere, and the weeping died down. I noticed that Dorothy looked tired. It must have been tough taking care of Tricia, who has been recently having multiple breakdowns. I can't blame her. With the loss of her mother and with her boyfriend being accused as the killer, must have been too shocking for her. Yeah, just a tad. The town of Painscreek is quickly becoming a ghost town. The population has decreased drastically over the years. Ever since the deaths appeared, it seems that more and more people are leaving this town. Deaths, plural. Time to find out who killed Laura Palmer. Hey Rags, how's it going? Pretty good. As I was saying earlier, I'm not sure how well this game will do streaming. I am just simply too creeped out to play it alone. So I'm starting it from the beginning. I've played about an hour of it so far. Or, sorry, I played about an hour in the past, so I sort of know what I'm doing. But, you know. So, this is the Diary of the Sheriff. Everybody keeps a diary in the 90s. It's probably good they said it in the 90s, because do you know of anybody that has a diary now? So it's been almost 6 months since Vivian was killed. Her death still bothered me. Why was she killed? What was the killer's motive? For spoopy games! It's atmospheric, but there was a part in it Okay, we'll get there. We'll get there. As someone who's earned the love and respect of her people... La 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 la. So, basically, this woman, Vivian Roberts, has been killed. And, well, she was killed 4 years ago, in 1995. And the town that she lived in is now abandoned. Everybody's moved out. It's going to be auctioned off. And so we're making one last attempt to solve her murder. So, Painscreek Community Hospital is officially closed. Reading the game! Yeah. That's why I'm unsure. We'll see how well this does as a streaming thing. I just seriously simply want company. That's it. Not even any more live journals. Remember a live journal? Man. I was one of those, at first I started as an emo live journalist, but I quickly got sick of that. Oh, that's closed. So we have a 4-digit lock. I don't know, I didn't get this in my first playthrough yet, so. I've got a missing kid. I'm gonna go ahead and take a picture of that. So, last scene. I remember! Remember live journal? He was wearing his favorite blue jacket. He has a scar below his left eye. Okay. So he went missing in 1989, this small kid. That's sad. Oh, here we go. Successful businesswoman found dead in her home. Third death to strike Painscreek. So there was a series of deaths, so we might be dealing with a serial killer here. Vivian Roberts, the wife of ex-mayor Charles Roberts, was found dead in front of her home. Oh, we have an address! 1 Maple Drive, Painscreek. At 7:15 a.m., Mary Martinez, a maid currently working at the mansion, was retrieving the papers when she saw Vivian's body. Okay, so Mary Martinez. She's going to be a main player too, I think. There's our sheriff, James Howard. Estimated time of death was between 11 and 1 a.m. So the main suspect, Scott, who is the son of a pastor, was seen fleeing the scene at 11:50 p.m. So he was pretty darn suspicious. Okay. So here's something nice. Once I read these things, they're recorded, so if I need to go back to them, isn't that nice? So here is our main suspect. This is the guy who was arrested and accused of Vivian's death. So let's see. This isn't the scary part though yet. I'm starting from scratch so you guys can see. This is the Moon Cafe. Haven't figured out how to get in there yet. Okay. Okay, so we have a jail cell key. Let's go look in the jail cell. I think it's a jail cell key. Let's see. Shall we? Oh. Can I not open the jail cell? What? Beans. Yay! It has flashlight. Nope. Nothing in here. Anything in the garbage? Nope. Anything there? Nope. Anything back here? Nope. Woof! That was close. I was afraid I couldn't open the door anymore. Okay. Well, you know what? For now, let's go back outside. I feel like we're gonna get some of these codes and such later. Long before David's tea. These guys don't know what they're missing. There's my car. Alright. Closed for good. So the whole town is being auctioned off. What? Hover the mouse to the keyhole on the doorknob. What? Oh, here. This is what we got. Right. There we go.